When it comes to capturing your off-road moments and your camping moments, we all have phones in our pockets, especially with pretty decent cameras.
But what about all those pretty aerial shots that you see all over Instagram and Facebook?
Well, that's where a drone comes in, but they can be expensive and intimidating.
Especially if you're somebody who has never flown one before, like myself, then the idea of being in charge of a drone is quite scary. But the Veeniix V11 is going to change that. This drone is supposed to be easy to fly, even for beginners or people who have never flown drones before, and it's in an affordable price range at about $400.
Not to mention, it's got some pretty cool features such as GPS follow and image follow. So Erica, I think it's time we put this to the test.
I'm excited. You know I'm going to be trying to fly this and hopefully not crashing it. So let's see how it goes.
Let's start by looking at what actually comes in the box with the Veeniix V11. They include all the essentials: the drone itself, a remote control, an extra battery pack, some spare propellers, and even a landing pad that I'll show you shortly. The drone also comes with a nice semi-hard shell carrying case. It's not going to offer crazy amounts of protection, but it's better than most cheap bag style cases a lot of budget drones come with. So how do you actually use this thing? Right out of the box, the Veeniix V11 has a pretty straightforward setup process. You just insert your smartphone into the included controller, launch the Veeniix app, turn on the drone and the controller, and wait about a minute for them to connect. Before every flight, you need to do a compass calibration, which involves spinning the drone horizontally for a few seconds and then vertically. One nice touch is the included landing pad. While I didn't use it every time, it definitely comes in handy for launching from grassy areas or if you just want a smoother takeoff surface. If you've flown drones before, you'll likely want to immediately turn off beginner mode, which drastically limits the range. Unfortunately, there's no clear indicator that you're in this mode in the app, which seems like an oversight. The tutorial videos do mention it, but having some kind of visual cue in the app when flying would be nice. I'll admit, I was disappointed with the range at first because the drone kept hitting its distance limits. That's when I realized I had inadvertently left beginner mode on, which definitely contributed to my early frustrations with the transmission range.
You'll see it, but it says we reached our distance. It'll go higher. Look at that. So all you're going to do is you're going to press that icon right there in the top left, that little up. So go ahead and you can press it now. And then you're going to go ahead and start the motors. Okay, and then do you want to press takeoff? Just like that, we're up. Say hi, drone. We can rotate it. We can send it up. Do you want to, here, go ahead and send it up. Press that button right there.
Send it up?
Yes, press that up. There you go. And it's up. So if you want to, this right here by your finger, that controls the angle of the camera. So I think if you go to the right, it'll bring it down. So do it slowly. Thank you. Did you go to the left or the right?
The right.
Okay. So yeah, now it's pointing the gimbal of the camera down. Huh? See, there we are. Do we have a new drone pilot?
Maybe. This is kind of fun. Now it's following me.
See how long you can walk. Is it still following you?
Yeah.
Nice.
Although it lost me for a second.
One feature that really caught my eye in the marketing for the Veeniix V11 was the interest point mode. The promo videos showed the drone perfectly orbiting around a group of people in a cinematic shot. Unfortunately, in our testing, this mode didn't always work as expected. When it did seem to work, it was really hard to tell exactly what kind of shot it was trying to capture or where it was even looking. The orbits didn't always seem to center based on where the drone was at the time and didn't give a smooth professional cinematic look. It's definitely a neat feature to have, but the execution clearly needs a lot of refinement before I could really recommend using this interest point feature regularly. And while we're on the topic of automated camera movements, it would be nice to see more built-in quick shots built into the drone, like a classic drone pull-away shot or even spirals around a specific area.
Image follow. All right, let's try again, nice and slow speed. Okay, it's got us, and then the minute okay.
Is it still following?
And it lost.
Wow.
Okay, so image tracking not working the greatest right now. Now I have it over us. Let's see if it'll GPS follow us. All right, should be doing a GPS follow. You see it? tracking for us. It's directly above us.
That's cool.
So just keep an eye on that, okay?
I will.
It's doing a really good job tracking us, actually. Is it still following us? Yeah, it's still following us.
One of the areas we really wanted to put the V11 through its paces was with the tracking modes, because the idea of being on an adventure and being able to have the drone act as its own cameraman at this price point is pretty intriguing. But with no obstacle avoidance sensors on this drone, you have to be extra cautious flying it anywhere near trees or really any obstacles for that matter. For this trail run, we kept the drone fairly high up in the sky just to be safe, and despite not having any sensors, it's still impressive that they offer two different tracking modes, a traditional follow me that is more image-based, as well as a GPS tracking mode. We actually had the most accurate results using the GPS follow mode as we navigated the twists and turns of this trail. The drone was able to keep a solid lock and smoothly follow along from its lofty vantage point up in the sky. Everything was going smoothly until we noticed the battery had drained right around 20%. At that point, we were quite a ways from the initial takeoff spot, and suddenly the auto return home feature kicked in and started guiding the drone back towards where we had started from. Unfortunately, at some point during that return flight, I lost signal and visual on the drone entirely, so we had no idea if it was actually going to make it back safely or if we'd have to go on a recovery mission. But after finally getting back to the takeoff area, we were relieved to find the V11 had indeed landed itself on its own without any issues. A bit nerve-wracking for sure to have it disappear like that, but it was nice to see the failsafe had worked as advertised. In terms of specs, the V11 delivers on its advertised claims. Battery life per pack hits right around the 30 to 35 minute mark. The camera shoots 4K video at a fixed 30 frames per second, which is fine for the target audience. It also utilizes a 2-axis gimbal to stabilize the 4K camera.
Okay, yeah, there's two just jumped right there.
I don't know if I got those. Oh, I just got one right there.
I'm here for the thrill. Patience is a virtue, and I've got time to kill. I don't need nothing else. With every cast, I find myself like a leaping trout, breaking through.
I'm not touching the controls. That was the best landing yet. That was the best landing yet.
Now, I do have to give the V11 props for handling wind pretty well. Just look at those palm trees to see how gusty it was, yet the footage stays buttery smooth.
I like that it can GPS follow when it comes to like following us on like the slow trails, because there's lots of really cool trails that we've done that we have to take pretty slow because of how technical they are.
Yeah.
And the idea that it follows us the way that it does is pretty cool, because then I can actually have you in the car instead of outside filming.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. But when I was flying it, I liked how intuitive it is.
Yeah.
You know, like it's...
Yeah, it's pretty easy to use.
Exactly, especially because, I mean, I have never driven, or I've never flown one before, so I was always nervous about crashing one and stuff like that. But honestly, it's pretty difficult to crash, like to full-on crash.
Well, the best part is if you do crash it, it seems pretty durable.
Yeah.
Don't ask me how I know.
At the current $400 asking price, the V11 pushes into entry-level DJI territory while packing extras like GPS tracking. While it won't compete with pro-level drones, it does offer solid value for new pilots or those curious about getting into drone flying. If the price dips lower, it becomes an even more appealing option. I'll include a link below if you want to check it out.